Welcome everybody to the memorabilia room. Now, thanks to Logan's great drive in Mexico, it has now been extended at great cost to hold a second third place trophy. So congratulations everybody, well done. Hi guys, I'm Villain and welcome back to Kicking Ass. Today we have the Brazilian Grand Prix, the second last race of our first season. And well, after the heroics of Logan Sargeant in Mexico bringing in a podium position, we are only 8 points behind Alpine. And was it a further 15 behind Alfa Romeo, which is maybe ambitious, but Alpine definitely in our sights coming into these final two races. Now there is a little bit to catch up on. We've had about 2 weeks since the Mexican Grand Prix. Now obviously the first thing is that with a new trophy means a new memorabilia room, but it's not just the memorabilia room. Here we go, here that's been upgraded, so it adds attractiveness to the team as well. Monthly upkeep obviously goes up a little bit at the same time. We've also had an upgrade to the tour center. Now that needed to be refurbished, so instead of refurbishing I just upgrade, so that has been taking place as well. Now this actually brings in extra income as well, so it's pays for itself essentially. And the other thing that needed to be refurbished, so we upgraded, was the helipad. So that is again further up another level. So that is all excellent stuff. Also, what has happened is that if we go down here, we will see that the ATR period has restarted. I'm not being able to find that, but anyway, I'll catch you. Oh, there it is. There, ATR period has restarted, so we've got our time now. Of course, we were last in the constructors sort of last season in real life, so coming into the game, which means we had the most time of anybody to be able to use. Now that was obviously going to be reduced now that we find ourselves 6th, possibly 5th this season, so we've got to really make the most of it here, and we have hopefully done that. And I'll show you what we've been doing in just a second. Because before we get to that, we've got to go. Actually, well, let's start with car. It's first thing here. So what we have done is we have got 2 things ongoing. You can see over here on the right hand. Was it left for you? Right for me. The suspension research and underfloor research. So that will mean we have underfloor research done sort of 2 projects. We would have done 2 projects for front wings and then 1 on suspension and rear wings, and I think for chassis as well. So we've more or less done a little bit of work on every part of the car except for the side pods, which there's no regulation change, so it shouldn't matter too much in any case. So fingers crossed that will all work out for us nicely for next season. Now, if we go and have a look at drivers, Logan Sargeant does have a development point. We will put that development point, I think, into cornering. Now we've got that to 70. We really do, I think, need to start, and I mean, this will help with lockups and crashes. Smoothness will help with tire life. Adaptability will help for obviously wet weather and things like that. And then defending and overtaking are kind of self-explanatory. So he's quick. We just need to, I think, work on the non-quick side of his driving. K-Mag has nothing, and we do have a development point for Juan Manuel Correa. It doesn't really matter what we put this into. We'll go for cornering. I'm hoping we'll be able to replace him for next season. We've been scouting some American drivers. Now, I think quite a few of them will have done 2 years, 1 in F2, 1 in F3, or 2 in F3 in some cases. As long as they're 18, I think that should mean at the end of the season we'll be able to sign them, but right now it's still showing me that we can't. I mean, this is a new game to me as well, so I'm not 100% sure. Now, our technical chief, Simone Resta, has an extra point we can add in, so let's throw that into chassis, I suppose. Next, we'll try and get everything up to 80, and then you might as well have them, you know, as relatively well balanced as possible. There's no other ones there to have. No, it'll be Gary Gennon's second last race at the team before his contract expires as well. And that then, I believe, is everything caught up on. So let's go and have a look at this race. We are expecting a wet Sunday, I should say, for the race. So let's hope that I do a little bit better here than I did at Austin in the wet. You can see the sectors for qualifying: red sector 1, blue sector 2, and yellow sector 3. Sections by speed. You can see there is a slow sort of section in the middle of the track. The rest of it is mostly high speed, so pace is going to be important here. You can see medium, low speed corners for the most part, which should suit the car not too badly, I think. Time considerations are there. Expected strategies: it is a 2-stop. So medium. Do we want to do medium, hard, or do we want to? We probably want to use a soft tire at some point, don't we? And there is the compound performance comparisons. All right, let's go and have a look at what we are expecting to do. Reach Q2, qualify 12th. We should be able to do. Do we reach Q3 with K-Mag? Let's say we do. Let's hope we do. Fastest lap we're not going to get, but a top 12 finish I think we should. Qualifying position, we need 2 cars in the top 14 in this race to get our $500,000. 1 car in the top 14 for 2 races to get another $500,000, $250,000. So we'll say we'll do both of those. And let's head off to Brazil. So confirmation of the weather. It is going to be moderate rain in the race, which probably means we won't need wet tyres. It'll be more intermediates, won't it? Now, I'm actually recording this before the Brazilian Grand Prix in real life, but obviously very topical this weekend. So hopefully Ricciardo's victory surprised no one. Don't know. I have no idea what happened. Free practice 1 has just taken place in actual time here. All right, I'm going to go do free practice 1 myself, and I'll see you for qualifying. Okay, so free practice is done, and it went okay. I've got to say, if we look at the results, you know, there's a lot of penalties at the top of the field, which is excellent news for us. Hopefully, they're serious penalties. Sargeant and Magnussen, you can see they're 7th and 11th in FP1. If we have a look at FP2, we were 10th, and where was Sargeant here? 14th. And look at this, both Alpines have penalties. They will both be dropping down the field. Could this be on yet? And then we were 8th and we were 14th again with Sargeant in FP3. Now, if we have a look at setups, it's more good news. 99 for Sargeant, 100 for K-Mag. So everything is looking good. We just need to get out there now and put the lap times in. All right, and here come the Haasers out onto the Interlagos circuit, hopefully to set this thing alight. All right, we're on our second run here in Q1. Now, we currently sit 11th and 12th. Magnussen just ahead of Sargeant. Now, both cars were quite badly held up by Daniel Ricciardo, and Magnussen's locked up. So, Magnussen could be in... He hasn't started his lap yet. All right, well, let's hope he can get himself up to speed. He might get away with that. Sargeant has done a green first sector. Albon and Ricciardo behind us, out currently in the drop zone, have both done green. And Norris as well in that first sector. So we'll have to get an idea. We'll get an idea soon. Magnussen, did he get across the line in time? He did. Was he able to do a green first sector? I'm trying to remember where Ricciardo blocked him. I can't remember if it would have been the second sector. So Magnussen's only done a yellow first sector. Now, of course, he would have lost. So he would be basically starting at a lot lower speed at the top of the straight, so he would have lost a little bit of time at the end. Now, the start-finish line isn't a mile away from the first corner, so I'm hoping he's going to get away with this. But if the second sector isn't green, then he hasn't. Sargeant's done 2 green sectors. Sargeant will go to 10th, so he's safe. Magnussen, though, well, I'm a little bit more concerned about K-Mag here. There's Stroll, Vettel, and Latifi behind him. He might just get away with this. Behind him on the time, I should say. Ahead of him on the track. He has done a green second sector. So hopefully he didn't lose too much in that first sector. And let's see if he's able... He's through anyway, so we don't have to worry. So in the end, K-Mag's time was good enough for 10th. Not bad, considering he was essentially facing the wrong way at the start of the lap. And Sargeant 14th. So he's relatively comfortably through, but he's got a lot of work to do if he is going to get himself into Q2 here. Okay, here we go. After a used tyre run, first time around, Sargeant is about to cross the line. Now, he's currently 15th, K-Mag 9th. Now, I'm fairly sure that Sargeant got held up by... Gasly in that middle sector where it's kind of twisty over here. So I think he has lost a bit of time on that first lap. Plus new tyres should mean he goes a little bit quicker as well. But it is all greens up and down that board except for us, our guys who haven't done a sector yet. There's Sargeant. Yellow in the middle sector. What's happened there? Is that going to affect our lap? Time will tell. It's still a yellow flag. Alonso has spun. And looks like Sargeant has backed off there. Alonso, of course, in the Alpine is currently 7th. Now, we know that the Alpines have penalties as well. It'll be interesting to see. The yellow flag has gone in, so it shouldn't affect Magnussen, even if it did affect Sargeant. We'll get a middle sector time here for Sargeant momentarily, and we'll see if he has indeed backed off. No, he's green. Okay, so as high up as he can get himself here, because what we want is cars in front of us taking penalties. We want to make sure that we're benefiting from that penalty if we at all can. So let's see if Sargeant can jump. Ricciardo, maybe Ocon. Magnussen is currently out of progression as well. So Sargeant goes ahead of Ricciardo into 14th. Magnussen comes across the line. He is... Oh, he's out. So double elimination. K-Mag, who has been in the top 10 all weekend, has fallen short by, look at that, 2/1000th of a second behind Pierre Gasly. And, well, if he could have got there, you never know how many of these cars he could get in front of. But we're out of qualifying, so there's no point crying about it now. And let's have a look here. So we start 6th with K-Mag, 9th with Sargeant. That could be huge. Now, we know there is rain forecast. The rain is expected to come quite early on. And there's a little bit of a heavy downpour there as well. It might be one where you try and hang out on inters, mightn't it? And then go to softs again at the end. Now, do we have enough soft tyres is going to be the big question here, isn't it? Alright, so this is what the race is looking like for Sargeant. Now, the inters isn't going to go as far as we want them to. There's an argument to say if you've got to make a stop anyway, come in for wets, but you're going to have to make another stop then to come in for inters again, aren't you? So it doesn't really work. So we'll go soft, inter, medium, and we'll probably do something similar for K-Mag. And yeah, hope it works out for us this time. Okay, welcome back. It's still a Ferrari Red Bull front row. No matter how many penalties there are, they always seem to be there. But let's see what we can do here. K-Mag 6th. We have Sargeant in 9th. And the Alpines are currently 12th and last. Now, I don't know why on earth you would be on a medium tyre to start this when there is rain expected relatively soon. K-Mag got himself up to 5th. We are going more or less full attack. I don't want to go full attack just in case the rain's a little bit later than it's expected. But we're going to use ERS. We're going to try and get as far up this field as we can, as K-Mag might get 2 for 1 here while he backs out of it. Possibly wisely. We've got Sargeant's actually lost a position back to 10th, which is annoying. Who else is on a medium? So many medium tyre runners, which is just strange. We've got a yellow flag. Sargeant has run wide, has he? Sargeant is now back to 13th and is getting just shuffled back very quickly.
Let's just get into a rhythm.
So what's happened there? He's running wide. Is that what he's done? He's just got in a little bit too hot. Got himself out onto the dirty outside of the track there, and well, that's how it can happen, isn't it? So he just needs to settle himself down and get himself moving forward again. He's fallen behind Alonso as well, which isn't ideal, but he's got 1 position back there, and we might go times 2. I suspect this might be a very busy race as he's going to fly straight past Ricciardo, and he's got Alonso now directly in front of him. If Sargeant can sort of stay with Alonso, and if you know, we've got Magnussen now up to 4th with the fastest lap of the race as well, though first lap doesn't really mean too much. But yeah, this is potentially a race that could see us overtake Alpine, and to be ahead of a manufacturer team like that, well, that's going to be absolutely huge, considering we are more or less, I guess with Williams, the only privateer side on the grid. And I guess that's a very loose interpretation of privateer, but you know what I mean.
DRS is enabled. DRS
Everybody else is more or less aligned with a massive manufacturer, or I mean, competitive penalty. So Ocon's got a penalty. Looks like he may have taken Russell out. Let's go back to K-Mag, and we'll go times 2 speed, but he is with Leclerc and Perez here. Verstappen is coming up quickly through the field. And we've just kind of just waiting for the rain, really, aren't we? Any second now. 1 minute to rain, and there it is. Okay, so in we come. We'll be double stacking. Onto inters we go. Hopefully inters is going to be the right tyre. I mean, I tried to preempt things in Austin and it just went horribly wrong. So we'll just go with what seems to be the sensible tyre. There might be an argument to say on a short lap you could do no, I don't think you can do another lap. So we might find ourselves with K-Mag coming out in the lead here, you know. I don't know why those front cars have all come in, have all kept going, I mean. Both the Alfa Romeos have stayed out as well. So let's see, K-Mag is in his pit box now. If he can leave before Sargeant gets there, which he can. Brilliant job. Brilliant job. And let's see, K-Mag is going to come out in 10th, is he? And we're going to have to wait for everybody to go past us. Can we get out in front of Alonso? Well, look at that. The Haas boys have jumped an Alpine in the stops. There is Alonso indeed behind us. And now we just need to be a little bit sensible here. And we could be on for a very, very nice result indeed, because there are cars out there on slick tyres right now that will be seriously regretting that decision. There's Ocon out on his soft tyres, looking like a bit of a fool. Can we get past him, please? Nice and quickly. He's holding him up for his teammate, isn't he? Round the outside, Logan. Come on, mate. You've got to get this done. He's on slick tyres, for Christ's sake. It really is a bit of a weakness. I mean, we know he's obviously not the finished article yet, but it's not just overtaking Ocon. It's the cars that are in front that we haven't made the time up on them we should have. So there's still cars out there on slicks. And we really, really do need to be getting by these guys, because it's costing us big. It's that Gasly on a wet tyre. Now that makes me a little bit more nervous. Can we stick it? Oh, what a move that was. He wasn't stuffing around there, was he? Wonderful stuff from Sargeant. Up to 9th now. Magnussen still... Oh, he's moved up to 2nd as K-Mag, ahead of Leclerc. Right behind Perez, still on a soft tyre, or dry tyre as well. And he's going to come in the pits, and K-Mag is going to be leading the Brazilian Grand Prix. And this isn't like when we had Sargeant leading, was it Baku, sort of on pit strategy. This is legitimately, on pace, K-Mag leading the Brazilian Grand Prix. Now we have Verstappen behind us, and I'm assuming he will be cruising up to us very quickly. But let's just enjoy this lap, or maybe 2 laps, hopefully a little bit more, while Verstappen reels us in. Sargeant sitting there in 7th as well. And we have leapfrogged both the Alfa Romeos and both the Alpines. Could 4th in this Constructors Championship beyond. The track is drying out a little bit. Now that was expected, wasn't it? It was supposed to dry out a little bit. Is it going to go back to slicks, you wonder? And then there's going to be another dump of rain. It's going to be one of those races, isn't it? So track is now dry. 70% chance of rain in 4 minutes. I don't think it's worth coming in. How much do we trust? If the track is dry now, that's a good 10 laps, isn't it? Not quite. 6, 7 laps. I don't think it's worth it. But it's certainly an annoying amount of time. Is anybody else going to come in? And if so... No. So we'll go with safety in numbers. We'll go with the pack here. Sargeant is 8th. Guan Yu Zhou has just got past him. Magnussen has just lost out to Sainz as well. But that's not really unexpected. It is raining now. So thank you, Jesus, I didn't come in and stuff things up again there. Sargeant with Alonso behind him. And yeah, the track, it looks like it might be one of these where it just sits on that margin between wet and dry. And in 3 minutes, we are expecting now that massive dump of rain. And then that is going to be the question of...
We're still okay.
Where's Sargeant down there in 10th? He's just lost out to Perez, which is absolutely fine. He takes a really narrow line, or shallow line into that turn 4, I suppose it is. Oh, and there's another one going past now as well, and that is Bottas. And now the rain is here. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2, but we know it's not Sargeant because we're on board with him. Now I wonder with Sargeant... Oh, it's just gone past the car that's run wide. I wonder with Sargeant if it's potentially worth bringing him in for wet tyres. How wet is it going to get? He does kind of need to be on the correct tyre just because of... you know, the sort of driver that he is and the experience level he has. We're getting to a wet track. How much wetter is it going to get? So it's supposed to get very, very wet. So I wonder... Okay, so let's hang on. Let's look at this. So if that's going to be absolutely torrential. If that's where we are now, can we trust this? And if we can... We need to stop K-Mag if that's... Oh, I really, really wish this was a consistent bar so you knew exactly where you stood. I wonder if this hasn't updated yet, because that looks like a dry track. That's almost as dry as it's saying, as dry as it's been. So let's not jump at this. And it's still kind of okay for Inters anyway. Can we get an update on that now? It's still making me think that's going to get quite wet. But this is the wettest. This is where I'm confused. This is the wettest it's been, but it's not really showing that it's that wet. Well, what we'll do is we'll just keep an eye on things. If anybody else comes in, I'll have my hovering over the pause button here. But it is drying out a little bit now. So yeah, I think that's just, if they that wet track sort of graph thing, I just feel like it needs to have like a consistent. Yeah, I'm not saying that the weather forecast has to be perfect. Obviously, it'd be good if the weather forecast got it wrong from time to time. But I just feel like it needs to be consistent. It's not like you would be getting inconsistent information from the team, you know what I mean, if you were actually at the track. So, yeah, I just find that particularly is a little bit frustrating, but maybe it is consistent and I'm just a bit slow. Alright, we've got Alonso up there in 6th. K-Mag is still hanging on to 3rd. And Sargeant, I mean, maybe a wet race isn't quite one for Sargeant at this point of his career. Hamilton all over the back of K-Mag as well. How are we doing for tyres? So we can push... Oh, wait. Actually, no, let's not push these tyres. Let's wait. Maybe we can take these all the way. What if we try it with Sargeant? Because he's kind of getting past a lot anyway. So if we try bringing Sargeant in, and we'll try and push him on a little bit, and just see how he goes. He has managed to stay on the lead lap, but only just, which maybe isn't ideal. We'll ignore it with K-Mag, and we'll just see if we can eke this out. Sargeant needs to get past Stroll very quickly because he needs to stay ahead of Verstappen, or my strategy is going to come back and backfire on us here. He needs to burn petrol. He needs to go. He needs to basically do faster lap times than Verstappen. I mean, he can afford to push. I mean, that's the whole reason we brought him in. But it would be such a shame if he goes down a lap here. And he's almost certainly going to. The track has changed to wet again. Okay. Verstappen is almost close enough to get a lap on him. Oh, it's so frustrating on these small tracks. It really is frustrating. But if he goes with it, you know, Verstappen's going to lap a lot more people yet. Rain has stopped, so we can... What we're kind of relying on now, though, is Verstappen lapping everybody up to 10th kind of thing. As Ocon comes in the pit, so we're up to 15th now. Latifi has had a spin. Tyres are overheating. Just go with it, mate. Just keep pushing. We'll back it off a little bit, maybe. Alonso's running wide again. Sainz is in the pits. He's not going to quite get there, is he? Verstappen in the pits. Now that has let Sargeant back through. Sounds like a spin. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work with K-Mag. Bottas is 4th right now. Everybody, I'm assuming everybody's gone on to... There's a couple of people onto wets, which doesn't really make any sense why you would have done that. But Sargeant has got his lap back. If he can get past Albon here quickly, and Russell... we're going to lose the lap again because multiple cars have crashed. Is that going to be a safety car that saves Sargeant? Look at this battle, though. 4 cars. Can Sargeant get it going through the middle there? He's going to overtake 2 if he's lucky here, or just the multiple car crash we're about to see. And there he goes. Past all of them, up to 11th. Unfortunately, he has lost quite a bit of time there. But what about that move from Logan Sargeant? I was too busy looking at Verstappen catching and thinking he's going to lose his lap back here. 3 positions gained here for Logan Sargeant. Straight through the middle of the pack. That is absolutely glorious stuff. He's looking like he's going to be a really good racer in the future for us, isn't he? Now, K-Mag's tyres are almost about to hit the cliff. And I just worry a little bit. We're going to lose that lap to Verstappen. There's not much. We've already lost it there. But he's in contention for points again, which is good. Track is dry. Okay, now his tyres are just about to go. Oh, I tell you what, that's absolutely worked to perfection for K-Mag. To perfection. We'll stick on the medium, which should get him to the end. And yeah, well, that's I say, to perfection that has worked. And then I think with Sargeant, where's Sargeant on the track relative to Magnussen in front of him? So let's come in with Sargeant this lap as well. We'll go on to the, again, to the medium. And that should be fine. It's just all breaking our way for us somewhat here right now, which is really, really good. Sainz has had a lock up. And what this might enable us to do as well is potentially get that lap back well and truly on Verstappen. Now we'll have a look at how much time we think we have, or what's out. No, I should have put mediums. I shouldn't have put mediums on. I said the medium could do 36 laps. Have I misdone my maths there? No, it's not 36 laps to go. It should be fine. We'll just keep our fingers crossed and see what K-Mag can do. What's his... If K-Mag's thing suggests he can get to the end, then maybe it's just... So K-Mag... It says K-Mag can get to the end. So we'll trust that and say that Sargeant should be able to do something similar. Let's see where Sargeant... He has not got his lap back and he's 11th. Magnussen is 3rd. Perez is behind him again. And Sargeant now up to 10th. As things start to shake out here.
Did somebody spin out there?
Gasly with a spin. He's behind us anyway. Bottas is 5th. Alonso 6th. And Guanyu 9th. So the teams that are ahead of us are scoring points as well. But if K-Mag can stay on the podium here, which is a big ask, what we'd really like with Bottas and Alonso battling here, if they could just take each other out, that would be great. But K-Mag, I think, is going to really struggle to keep Perez behind him. I don't know, is DRS activated yet? I'm not sure if it is. But I think... it doesn't look like his wing is open, but he's going to... Oh, is it? Yeah, no, it is open. So, we just need K-Mag to kind of go with him there. Oh, he's kept his nose in. Can he get it back on the inside? Doesn't look like that's going to happen. And that will probably be that. Do we get DRS? We do. Can we have a go back at him? Oh, down the outside. Maybe. Oh, we've given him no room whatsoever. How has he stayed on the track? And, well, we will have the inside running up here, but the Red Bull's a faster car. I mean, there's a part of me that thinks pick your battles, K-Mag, but K-Mag does pick his battles, and it's every one. Can he get that done? Not quite. We've got a little bit of ERS we could potentially lean on. But we've probably stayed close enough through most of the lap that we'll be in the DRS range coming down this main straight again. And potentially able to take him back. Let's have a look here, see if we can. And if we're going to be in sort of a back and forth DRS battle here. Can we stick it down the inside? No, but we should have DRS down the back straight. Is Perez going to be wise to this time? No, there's nothing you can do about it. K-Mag straight down the inside. And well, this is going to be an interesting battle with 20-odd laps to go as to who gets the final place on the podium.
With an overtake.
So we'll keep an eye on it. There it is there if you want to follow it around as Perez gets Magnussen back. Magnussen gets Perez back, does he? Not quite. But yeah, that you feel like that could go all the way to the finish line if Magnussen can stay in the DRS zone, because that double dose of it just keeps him close enough, doesn't it? Sargeant 10th. He's got a little bit of a gap in front and behind. You can see there a little bit of fresh air. So he's looking okay for a point here. Magnussen, you suspend Magnussen into the wall as well.
Let's see what happened there. Now just focus on the Haas.
All right, is he out? He's not out. What sort of damage have we got?
And it may have really hurt
Major front wing
their overall
damage.
chances.
Oh, K-Mag, you absolute muppet. All right, well,
Box.
we're going to lose out to Alonso here. Oh, that was starting to look really promising for 5th in the Constructors. But we're going to lose out. Yeah, Alonso, we're going to even come out in the points. We're going to come out a lap down in 7th. We've got the soft tyres on. So we can push to the end.
Was that a lock-up on the track?
16 seconds to Bottas. And Ricciardo's closing in on Sargeant as well. Alright, so we have got K-Mag. He's closing up about half a second a lap on Bottas. The gap is too big, though. He needs more than that. I mean, he's more or less keeping up with Verstappen. But with not that many laps to go here, it's looking as though... yeah, it's looking as though it might be 7th for K-Mag, and we'll see what we can get with Sargeant. I've maybe pushed these tyres a little bit too hard there, and Sargeant has just spun.
Here's the replay. Now just focus on the Haas.
So that, I suspect, is going to be...
They lose it there.
Yeah, there goes Ricciardo. That is going to be Sargeant out of the points. So it's a little bit of a case of what might have been here. I wonder if we can have a go with K-Mag for fastest lap for a bonus point. So let's
And McLaren with a great
look
overtake.
to do that. He's on a soft tyre. Verstappen currently has the fastest lap. Alright, so Verstappen is just coming around to start the last lap. We've got K-Mag on full attack. Let's see if we can get this fastest lap.
This is the final lap.
Come on, K-Mag. Come on. Can we see a purple first sector so we know we're at least in the game? Let's go double speed here. First sector is not his fastest, never mind the fastest of the race. So I suspect, again, we're not going to quite manage to pull this off, perhaps. But maybe he did a really, really, really fast first sector at some point in the race. Let's have a look. Second sector. Can it at least be green? It is green. All right. Purple final sector, and we've got this in the bag. Verstappen is going to win the race. K-Mag is going to come in and score 7th. He's actually burnt through his whole battery within the lap. But I suspect not the fastest lap. But there we go. 7th nonetheless. And Sargeant, I suspect, will trail in. He's 5 seconds behind Ricciardo. So unfortunately, Alonso got Magnussen's 4th place. We weren't a mile away from the fastest lap. It was only 3/10 or so. Yeah, but Alonso's got his 4th place. We've got Bottas in front of us, so that makes it very difficult for us now with Guan Yu Zhou there as well in 8th to think that we're going to be climbing up any further here. Alonso goes back ahead of K-Mag, though they have the same amount of points. So why has... races finished, maybe? Is that what it is? Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're joint on points, so that's something going into the final race. And the Alpine gap is we need another race like Mexico City, don't we, if we're going to overtake that, and Alfa Romeo is officially beyond us at this point. So there we go. It was almost, wasn't it? Almost for K-Mag, a wonderful result, but ultimately he's stuck it in the fence again. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. I'll see you next time for the final race of the season at Abu Dhabi. It doesn't look like we're going to get Alpine, but maybe Magnussen can get Alonso. Take care.